Now, we are in an area only miles away from the disputed territory. And back in 2014, this area saw heavy fighting. And that's because we are right next to a corridor that the Russians needed in order to bring troops, money, and equipment in to support the war.
This road is the only link between Russia and Lugansk, so the Russians had to take it. Nobody knows how many people died here over 2.5 months of fighting, but it was many. When the shooting started, the separatists were also shooting at the town. So my friends and I went in under fire and helped the people of the town escape. Many people in this area would like to be part of Russia. So this was a natural place for the fighting to start because they identify as Russians.
All right, Sarah, can we ask you, before we let you go, what has changed since Putin's announcement that he's partially withdrawing some of those troops from the Ukrainian border?
Well, diplomatically, Bianca, Russia has been seen more of a step further, and now they are ready for talks with US and NATO following this talks today between German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Putin. But all this news, along with that withdrawal of troops, and much of the locals here that we have spoken to that live in this direct line of fire say that here in this Donbass region that we have been travelling throughout the day, say that all of this really, this withdrawal of troops and these talks, really, they just turn a blind eye to and don't really have much to say about it. They say that they've heard it all before and that they don't really believe much of this. They just basically, when we gave them this news and we spoke to them about it, really, they actually just laughed at it, to be perfectly honest.
Sarah Williamson joining us live from eastern Ukraine. Thank you for that report, Sarah.
All right, let's welcome in now Pete Hoekstra, former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and the former U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands. Great to have you with us, Ambassador.
Always good to be with you, John. Thank you.
All right, so we got reports that Vladimir Putin is withdrawing some of his troops, that he's seeking a diplomatic resolution to this conflict. At the same time, though, not a lot of optimism that this is going to result in without Vladimir Putin slicing off some portion of Ukraine. Which part of this are you believing right now, Pete, is the most likely resolution?
Well, I got to believe, number one, that Putin is just having a great time. He's kind of the puppet master now in Europe. You know, Macron was there last week. This week, the German chancellor's there. You know, on Friday, I was actually in Europe, but I guess, you know, over the weekend, the U.S. is talking about, you know, an invasion is imminent, could happen at any time. Everybody is focused on Russia. Everybody's focused on Putin. My European counterparts that I talked with, they don't believe that Putin's going to invade Ukraine. Everybody is focused on Russia. Everybody's focused on Putin. My European counterparts that I talked with, they don't believe that Putin's going to invade Ukraine. You know, they're much more relaxed about this, and you start thinking about is this administration playing wag the dog, hang this out there? President announces a diplomatic success this afternoon, and wow, look at he's in charge.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at a live shot of downtown Kiev this evening, and you know, everything looks normal. You don't see, it doesn't look like a war-torn country at this point. And so we still wait and see. And I think your point is well taken. Vladimir Putin has managed to leverage this into a situation where everyone feels obligated to go visit with him, and that's what he wants. Of the conversation.
He wants to be the power broker in Europe, and last month have proven that he can make that a reality.
Yeah. Something else we wanted to ask you about too, Pete, as it relates to your experience in the House Intelligence Committee is, you know, Spygate is a real thing. Apparently after this latest release from John Durham and his special counsel investigation, he's investigating Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, and he's discovered that Clinton's agents spied on former President Trump while he was on the campaign trail, during the transition, perhaps even while he was in office. I know this is not a surprise to you, Pete, but what are we supposed to do with
Well, what we should do is, yeah, we should really be disappointed. I personally believe that John Brennan, who was the director of the CIA at the end of the Obama administration, James Clapper, who was the director of national intelligence, Michael Hayden, who had left the intelligence community but was a well-respected individual, James Comey, the whole Russiagate thing. Shame on them. They destroyed the integrity of the intelligence community. They destroyed the integrity of the FBI by the allegations that I believe they knowingly made that were false about the president and his relationship with Russia. And now you put this on top of it. The only thing that could be worse is that not only was it the Hillary campaign that was trying to spy on the president's campaign, the transition team, and maybe even while he was in the White House. But if you put it in the context of everything else that we know with Clapper, with Brennan, was the intelligence community involved in trying to penetrate and undermine a president-elect or maybe even a president? That would really be frightening.
And when you look at this, it's just so obvious to so many of us that have looked at this. And I made this point in the last hour with Trish Regan. If you take Donald Trump's name out of this, if you take him out of this and just imagine this happening to any other candidate, imagine this happening to Hillary Clinton if there were a Republican in office, the outrage you would see. And you talk about John Brennan and James Clapper and Michael Hayden. This is exactly the deep state type stuff that so many of us were concerned about. If you give these federal bureaucracies the ability to snoop into our lives, they are going to do that. And Pete, it's time that we stand up and, claw back some of this authority that these organizations have. We need to give them the ability to properly surveil targets, but we've seen them do it without warrants. This has gone way too far.
Yep. John, you got to take a look at what their capabilities are. It's not only snooping. Okay, these organizations, our intelligence community has the capability. They could have gone into, Donald Trump's servers. They could have planted phony information that would have then gone to the FBI in an investigation. And they said, look, here's the smoking gun, the evidence of Russia involvement. You want to talk about what a successful insurrection could have looked like? You're looking at it. They could have taken down a president. It's going to be very interesting, and it's astounding that Newsmax is one of the few organizations that's actually covering this. This really is a threat to democracy.
We've been talking about it for years, Pete. You and I personally, the conversations we've had offline caused me to sometimes raise my eyebrows and to a point I didn't think it was possible before. But this is what happens when you have this type of power. It expands, it metastasizes now. This started with the war on terror, but obviously I think Americans realize there's a limit to this and diminishing returns. Something else too that I think stands out to a lot of people is that if you spoke up about this at all, you were dismissed. There were Pulitzer Prize awards handed out based on some of the reporting that appears to be completely debunked now. There was one particular example from Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes when President Trump mentions that his campaign was spied on. Here is that exchange.
So the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? This is 60 Minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
Well, they couldn't verify it because John Durham apparently isn't leaking. That's why. I mean, that's their validation process. Well, there's a leak. This happened, but nothing's leaking out of this. And if they would have looked a little bit harder, they would have found the evidence. Apparently, John Durham can find it.
Yeah, and they had no problem reporting about the Steele dossier, about the leaks that came out of the intelligence community in 2016, early 2017. They could verify those.